Amid growing speculation about Canelo Alvarez's upcoming fights, newly released training footage has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. As anticipation continues to build for a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman has joined the conversation, offering his perspective on the highly anticipated matchup. He described it as celebrity boxing within the boxing world, emphasizing that facing Canelo is not an opportunity to be taken lightly. Thurman hailed it as the biggest fight of Crawford's career, acknowledging Canelo's exceptional skill set. He stressed that defeating Canelo requires a rare combination of athleticism and strategic brilliance, traits not every fighter possesses.
Superstar boxing matchup, it's almost like celebrity boxing, but within the world of boxing. You know what I mean? It's just the biggest fight that Crawford can make in his career. It's his Floyd Mayweather. It's his Manny Pacquiao. It's literally Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. And you can't hate on it. He did so many amazing things throughout 140, 147, moving up and going after the top dog here. It takes athleticism and strategy to beat Canelo. There's no such thing as an unbeatable fighter. He is beatable. It's just most people don't beat him, So let's just see what happens, man.
Another voice weighing in on the potential Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez clash is renowned trainer Bozy Ennis. In his analysis, Ennis emphasized that for Crawford to emerge victorious, he would need to rely on constant movement infused with sharp, strategic energy, enough to frustrate and throw Canelo off his rhythm. Framing the fight as a battle of skill versus power, Ennis highlighted Canelo's reputation as a heavy puncher who relentlessly drains his opponent's energy. He explained that Crawford must pace himself wisely, maintaining high-speed movement and distance throughout the fight. While some may be counting Crawford out, Ennis made it clear he's not one of them.
I, was working with Terence or something like that. I would have him boxing, boxing, moving, and when he gets set time up, frustrating, And that's the only way I can see him, Terence beating him, Now, Canelo's a puncher, man, So you can't be laying around on the ropes on him because he punches in your arm and hurt you. So you got to be on. You got to be on. Boxing, moving, little shake here, little fake there, Hands up. Got to be right, man. I think that's going to be a great fight, man. People counting Terence out. I'm not counting him out.
As predictions continue to roll in, Roy Jones Jr. has also shared his thoughts on the potential clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Jones admitted that picking a winner is no easy task, emphasizing that the outcome will heavily depend on Canelo's approach. He explained that facing Crawford isn't just about boxing, it requires more than that. According to Jones, if Canelo limits himself to pure boxing, he could find himself on the losing end. However, if he adopts a more well-rounded strategy, his chances of victory increase. Jones concluded by saying that for Canelo to win this fight, he'll need to prove, beyond doubt, that he truly is the best.
It's a hard one to call, and I'm gonna tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove the world that he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
As excitement builds around the potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, British boxer Jack Catterall weighs in with his thoughts. Known for his sharp boxing IQ and respectful demeanor, Catterall shared his honest take on the matchup, stating, "Yeah, it's definitely going to be a wild fight. I've got a lot of admiration and respect for both fighters. Honestly, I'm not sure who takes it, but I'll definitely be watching." Moving on, respected trainer Robert Garcia has also shared his thoughts on the potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia made it clear that he believed Canelo would come out on top. He emphasized that his support for Canelo is based purely on skill, not personal bias, despite the fact that he and Crawford share a strong friendship. Garcia acknowledged that he spent more time with Crawford and genuinely wants to see him succeed. He expressed a strong desire to see Crawford win, praising his fighting spirit and demeanor. Still, despite his admiration for Crawford, Garcia ultimately predicted that Canelo Alvarez would be the one to emerge victorious.
I see Canelo winning, and I'm not, I don't know Canelo very well. I'll say hi to him if I see him. He'll say hi to me too, but we're not friends. I could probably say I've spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, because I know him better. I see him develop in Top Rank. Top Rank actually were asking for our opinion before they signed him.
What'd you say?
What do you guys think? Me, Mikey said he's a great fighter. Sign him. He's a great ass fighter. So I know him better. I would love to see him pull it off, and he could. But I still see, I don't know, I see Canelo winning.
Reflecting on the potential impact of a Terence Crawford victory, Robert Garcia acknowledged just how monumental it would be. He agreed with Canelo Alvarez's own statement that if Crawford were to beat him, it would elevate Crawford into the conversation as one of the top 3 fighters in the world. Garcia even went a step further, suggesting that such a win could solidify Crawford's place among the top 5 fighters globally. He described the idea of Crawford defeating Canelo as incredible, something that would significantly boost Crawford's professional legacy. According to Garcia, not only would it elevate Crawford to the very top of the sport, but it could also secure his place among the greatest fighters of all time.
Bud says if he beats Canelo, he's in the top 3 GOATs, greatest of all time.
It's definitely. I think he maybe top 5, but he will be up there.
How huge is that win?
It's huge, man. It's huge, very huge, very huge. That would be unbelievable, man. That would be awesome. That would be undisputed in three divisions.
Meanwhile, as the hype surrounding the potential fight reaches new heights, Canelo Alvarez has turned up the intensity in his preparations. Recently released training footage has left fans and analysts stunned, showcasing Canelo in peak form. In the clips, he's seen unleashing a barrage of powerful punches on the bag, displaying his elite skill set and laser-sharp focus. His mindset is crystal clear. He's gearing up for war. Whether it's William Scull or Terence Crawford standing across from him, Canelo is sending a strong message. He's ready to deliver a brutal performance and leave no doubt about who's in charge. Taking note of Canelo's intense preparation, rising star Jaron Ennis also shared his thoughts on the potential matchup. While admitting that it's difficult to make a definitive prediction, Ennis described the fight as a true 50-50 battle, but acknowledged that he's leaning slightly toward Canelo. He pointed out that Canelo is naturally the bigger fighter, with a significant edge in weight and size. Ennis emphasized that weight classes exist for a reason, and in this case, the size disparity could be a key factor. He noted that Crawford, while exceptionally skilled, is physically smaller than Canelo, and that difference might become a serious challenge once they step into the ring.
I don't know. That's like a 50-50, 60-40. You gotta lean towards Canelo because he's been at that weight for a long time now, and he been pitting big guys out and things like that. And Crawford a little smaller. So I don't know. We gotta see how it play out come whenever they fight. When they supposed to fight, September or something like that.
September.
Yeah, we gotta see how it play out. We don't know. It's boxing.
Explaining why he favors Canelo in this potential matchup, Jaron Ennis pointed to Canelo's size and proven success against larger opponents. He highlighted that Canelo has consistently beaten fighters in higher weight classes, something that, in Ennis's view, strongly justifies leaning toward him. In contrast, Ennis noted that Crawford hasn't even fought at 168 pounds, calling it a potential disadvantage. With Canelo's experience, including handling opponents as heavy as 200 pounds in sparring and training, Ennis believes the Mexican superstar holds a clear edge. Still, he acknowledged that this is boxing, and anything can happen. He added that when these two finally meet in the ring, it will be a moment fans won't forget. According to Ennis, this is the kind of fight that will be talked about for decades, with anticipation already running sky high.
You gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So so be it.
As anticipation builds for a potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, boxing commentator and YouTube personality Showbiz the Adult weighed in with a passionate take. Known for his bold opinions and deep knowledge of the sport, Showbiz moved beyond the typical weight class arguments and focused on something deeper, what it truly takes to beat a fighter like Canelo. In his words, when people talk about Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the conversation always circles back to weight classes. But for me, that's not not the main issue. What I'm really thinking about is this. Terence Crawford has never faced anyone like Canelo, and people don't realize how important that is. To beat Canelo, you've got to be great, truly great. We're talking about guys like Floyd Mayweather, Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol. Why? Because Canelo himself is great. In the midst of all the speculation surrounding a potential blockbuster between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, Showbiz offered a deeper look at what sets Canelo apart from the rest. While many fans focus on the size and weight difference between the two, Showbiz argued that the real conversation should center around Canelo's greatness, not just his physical attributes, but his mentality, experience, and rare intangibles that define legends. He broke it down like this. He's like a tank, strong, relentless, with sharp head movement, solid speed, pinpoint accuracy, and incredible heart. He's got guts, a granite chin, and that rare X factor only the truly elite fighters possess. Canelo doesn't just show up, he fights. He fights more often than Crawford, usually twice a year, and he pushes through injuries, knees, wrists, whatever. Whether you're 6'1" or 5'11" or shorter, it doesn't matter. Canelo is great, and that's why beating him takes more than talent, it takes greatness. Backing his stance, Jaron Ennis emphasized that Canelo has faced and beaten much bigger opponents, even those around the 200-pound range. He warned that when Canelo lands clean shots on Crawford, the power difference could be overwhelming. Ennis pointed out that Crawford hasn't yet fought anyone in the higher weight classes, and suggested that before stepping in against Canelo, Crawford should consider taking a fight at 160 pounds to experience the kind of physicality he'll be up against. While he acknowledged that Crawford appears eager and focused on a September showdown with Canelo, Ennis offered a word of caution. Simply bulking up with muscle won't be enough. Beating Canelo, he said, requires more than size. It demands the right preparation, strategy, and experience at that level.
Yeah, right. And I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to fill into somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
As the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown continues to generate intense discussion, Showbiz the Adult offered his perspective on the fight, highlighting the key differences in experience and ring IQ between the two fighters. Known for his thought-provoking commentary and unique takes on the sport, Showbiz didn't hold back in expressing his belief about who holds the upper hand in this matchup. He said, "Everything Crawford knows, Canelo knows, and Canelo knows it through experience." His resume speaks for itself. Sure, Crawford's got that Batman-level IQ, but he's stepping in against Tony Stark. Canelo's no dummy. He's sharp, skilled, and has seen it all inside the ring, adding more to the intensifying debate over who will come out on top in the highly anticipated showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Showbiz offered his perspective, focusing on the critical difference between the two fighters: experience. Drawing from his in-depth knowledge of both boxers, Showbiz made it clear where he believes Canelo has the edge. Despite Crawford's superior athleticism, he said, while Crawford is incredibly talented and knowledgeable, Canelo's advantage lies in his on-the-job experience. He's been through more battles at the highest level. When it comes to ring IQ, it might actually be Canelo who holds the edge. I'm just trying to point out that experience matters, and Canelo's got more of it. That said, Crawford is definitely the better athlete. No doubt about that. As speculation continues to swirl around how a potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight might unfold, rising star Keyshawn Davis also shared his take on the matchup. Analyzing the styles of both fighters, Davis predicted that the early rounds would start off slow, with each man trying to find his rhythm and range. However, he believes the fight would truly pick up in the middle rounds, where the action and intensity would hinge on who lands the cleaner, more effective shots. Davis pointed out that during these crucial mid-rounds, Canelo could pose serious problems for Crawford, particularly with his powerful punches and pressure. He suggested that this phase of the fight might determine the overall outcome, as Crawford could struggle to land cleanly while being forced to move more.
Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez.
Bud, for sure.
You think he could go up that much in weight and take care of business? What does that fight look like?
Starting off slow for sure for the both of them. middle rounds, of course, picking it up, and I feel like at the end, that's when they gonna really open up. But I see Canelo trying to walk Bud down, walk him into some shots, and I just feel like, you know, Canelo probably gonna be walking into a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah.
You know? Square circle.
In building his case for why Canelo Alvarez is a different breed inside the ring, Showbiz the Adult didn't just speak on skills, he spoke on presence. For him, Canelo's physicality and natural strength are just as defining as his technique, IQ, and championship experience. He emphasized that Canelo isn't just a skilled boxer, he's a physical force, a tank built for battle, compact but powerful, with a frame and aura that command respect even outside the ropes. It's not just what Canelo does in the ring, it's how he carries himself, how he feels when you're near him. Sharing a personal moment that drove this home, Showbiz reflected on his real-life interaction with the Mexican superstar to highlight just how imposing Canelo truly is. He talked about the raw physicality, his broad shoulders, thick frame, massive fists, and even the size of his head, all reminiscent of a prime Mike Tyson. In Showbiz's words, you don't just look at Canelo and see greatness, you feel it.
Canelo is bigger than I thought he was. Pause. His head size, his fist size. You know, he got that Mike Tyson shit. Canelo is, he's not small. He's not, I mean, just as he's a tank. When people say he's about 190, I can see that. I don't know how much he weighs, it's kind of hard to tell, but the way he's put together, like when I put my hand on his shoulder, you know, I mean, he's a tank. No diss, but like when I hugged Ryan Garcia.
You told me under six? Under six? I can bet money on that? Bet money on it.
When I hugged Ryan and I hugged Canelo, it was two different.
Amid all the speculation surrounding the potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford showdown, Keyshawn Davis has confidently weighed in with his pick. Unlike many who are leaning toward Canelo, Davis is firmly backing Terrence Crawford to come out victorious. He expressed strong belief in Crawford's skills and determination, stating that he doesn't see him losing this fight. Even in the event that Crawford does come up short, Davis emphasized that a loss wouldn't tarnish his legacy. To make his point, he referenced Canelo's own defeat to Dimitri Bivol, a setback that didn't damage Canelo's reputation or greatness. Drawing from that example, Davis made it clear that win or lose, Crawford's legacy remains intact. However, he made one thing absolutely certain. In his eyes, Crawford won't be the one walking away with a loss. He's confident Crawford will win this battle.
You feel like that ruins his legacy?
Hell no.
That's Canelo.
No. It ain't ruined Canelo's legacy when he moved up and tried to fight Bivol and he lost.
Yeah.
He moved up and tried to be great. He lost. You know, so he ain't gonna ruin Crawford's legacy. And he that's a win-win for him. For sure, but I think he's gonna win the fight for sure.
Meanwhile, Keyshawn Davis didn't shy away from addressing the ongoing criticism Canelo Alvarez faces for not yet stepping into the ring with David Benavidez. He acknowledged the frustration among fans and the wider boxing community, admitting that the criticism is justified. People are furious, he noted, and rightfully so, highlighting how long fans have been calling for that fight and how overdue it feels. Keyshawn expressed his belief that Canelo must face Benavidez, not only to silence the doubters, but to solidify his standing as the undisputed face of boxing. He emphasized that the matchup wouldn't just be about legacy, it would also make sense from a financial standpoint. Davis argued that if Canelo is focused on big money fights, the Benavidez clash could be one of the most lucrative options available, possibly even surpassing the Crawford bout in terms of sheer public demand and pay-per-view potential.
I feel like the only point they could say is with the Benavidez. I don't understand. I don't know why Canelo ain't fighting Benavidez, you know, but that's the only point they can make. Everything else is just like, all right, whatever. Y'all just talking, blowing smoke. But I don't know why he wouldn't fight Benavidez. I feel like that's a lucrative fight right there. I feel like that's lucrative.
Both. So folks, that is all for today from here at Ring Rivalry. Whether you're riding with the slick skills of Terrence Crawford or backing the battle-hardened power of Canelo Alvarez, one thing's for sure, we're witnessing a collision of greatness if this fight happens. From legacy talk to weight debates and even the shadow of David Benavidez looming in the background, this matchup has all the ingredients to shake up boxing history. Let us know in the comments, who are you backing and why? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any breakdowns, updates, or heated debates right here on the channel. Until next time, stay tuned for more.